Hi, it's me, Liam, of You've Got to Be Kidding Me fame. And this is my segment on the TNA 20th anniversary podcast that we did. Garrett's making me record an intro because I forgot. Enjoy! Whoa. Impact is turning 20. And that's pretty nuts for a pro wrestling company. Pro wrestling companies, they come and they go very quickly. I was sitting down here and I was catching up on some Best of the Super Juniors. And I was watching Hiromu Takahashi versus Ace Austin, which got me thinking about how Ace has been positioned in this tournament and him being the Impact X Division champion. And as I was kind of, sitting down, watching this tournament, seeing it unfold and seeing Ace's position in it, it just made me think of how through it all, TNA, Impact, they've managed to keep a certain cachet with the audience. That Impact and that TNA managed to breach through to a level that not many other companies have. I can note, personally, growing up, the only two companies that people of my generation ever talked about to each other were WWE and TNA. And I think a part of that is TNA, at least for a time, was on a premium television network and was on a channel called Fox 8, which was quite big here. That's how I first saw it. People have heard this story before, but I turned on the TV and I saw a segment where Raven returned to TNA, 2003 Wrestler of the Year, by the way, from You've Got to Be Kidding Me, our show. Raven had returned and threw a fireball in Abyss's face during a match against Dr. Stevie on Impact, and I was taken away. I was blown away by this. I was like, what the hell is this? This is nothing like what I've ever seen before. To this day, like my friends, the only wrestling companies they know who aren't in the wrestling zeitgeist, they know WWE. Now some of them bring up AEW, but they know TNA. TNA was always a company that managed to break through to everyone. It's really interesting. It didn't always have the best reputation, but you'd have casual conversations with people and it would be, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, James Storm, Motor City Machine Guns. Like, you would have all these conversations, these guys would keep getting brought up. So it really shows that, for a time there, the impact that this company had and how it just managed to breach through. And what made me think about it was, I was watching this Ace Austin match and seeing how protected he was, and I was like, it feels like even in Japan, because of the mutual working relationships they've had over the years with New Japan, Wrestle One, the biggest one, of course, Noah, I'm sure there's been others that I just can't remember. They had Dragon Gate guys coming in. They had people coming in from Excursion. They've done everything, And there's still that cachet there. In Japan, too. Like, Doki beat El Lindemann. And when he's not calling out for a G-Rex title shot, although he should, he's not calling out for a G-Rex title shot. But as soon as Hiromu... spoilers for Night 5 of Best of the Super Juniors, I guess. As soon as Hiromu beat Ace Austin, they immediately started setting up something with Hiromu wanting to challenge Ace for that X Division title. And I think a part of that comes from this is a company that has managed to keep a hold of notability in Japan. It had the Wrestle Kingdom crossover shows. You had the very famous Jeff Jarrett, Scott D'Amore joining Bullet Club stuff. Although I think that might have been a little bit after, but still, people knew them from TNA. To go back to it, go to our show, it had Jeff Jarrett attacking Hulk Hogan after a New Japan show in one of, the coolest angles they've done. Unfortunately, nothing ever came of it, but it was a really cool angle. And I was just thinking that as I was watching this stuff, I was like, man, Impact, despite everything that's happened, despite the reputation it's had at times, is a company that persists. It is a company that stays on course and survives and floats. And it's quite remarkable, especially, in this tumultuous business where things go so quickly, that they've managed to do this. And I guess that's part of what I'm really enjoying about our show, is that I'm getting to finally see that whole process. Only 3 years in, I only got 17 more to go, But yeah, and it's just interesting to see like how many times this company was written off over the years. And deservedly so at times. But it's persevering. They've gone to a stage now. See, this is my thing with Impact. I never thought they were going to manage to get their goodwill back. And, they didn't for a lot of people. But for a long time, I was like, this company's never going to get any forward momentum. The people have clearly written it off. You could do whatever. But you know what? Since like 2018, 2019, then it dipped a bit, but then came back. These last few years, Impact really feels like it's got some momentum behind it. It's building up that goodwill again. Problem is that whenever they do anything that anytime they do anything that strays from that path, they're immediately going to be criticized and it's going to be lol TNA, you know, because they have that reputation. It's hard not to root for Impact. It fulfills a very particular and specialist role in pro wrestling. It's a place where people who aren't quite big enough stars to go straight to the tippity top levels, they can go, they can work on their craft, they can make a living, they can become better performers, they can get over, they can become hotter commodities. It's a place for people to work who might not get picked up once they get released from other places, you know? And that's a very valuable role. It was a role that the kind of in tandem they did with a company I kind of consider Impact's sister company, which is funny because they really had very little interaction. But it's a role that Ring of Honor also kind of held for a while there. But now it's all on Impact's back, really. You can't but help root for Impact. So, congratulations, Impact Wrestling, on the anniversary. It's kind of cool, you know? And I'm hoping by the time we get to year 20 in the old podcast, that there'll still be another 15 or so more years to cover, so we can perpetually do this dance forever. Do the damn thing.